These 7 exercises are all you need to do to learn a language in 3 months. If you do them daily for 90 days, you can learn any language, understand it, and speak it fluently in 3 months or less.
It is quite possible that Spanish is the easiest language to learn in the world. If your first language is English, if your first language is French or German or Italian, it may be that Spanish is the easiest language you could possibly study. It's the language you could learn the most of. You could make the most progress in a period of just 3 months. Nevertheless, for you to learn 1,000 words per week, 1,000 new items of vocabulary per week, that wouldn't just be difficult. We're getting into the realm of things we could say are scientifically impossible. And this gentleman is suggesting to you that if you will pay him more than $100 per month, he will make the impossible possible, that you will learn plus 1,000 words per week. That plus means more than 1,000 words per week. And after just 3 months, you will become fluent in the language. Now, I have criticized some apps that cost $100 per year, round numbers. Here, we're talking about a system of education that is instead over $100 per month. So it's crucial that he convinces you you're only going to have to pay this high rate for 3 months to become fluent in any language. So that wouldn't just mean Spanish, right? So in theory, you'd be able to become fluent in Chinese, in Japanese, in Arabic, in languages that are extremely difficult to learn. Now, I just want to digress to invite you to imagine how much work is involved in mastering 10 new words in Chinese in the space of a week. For you to memorize the correct way to write a Chinese character, brushstroke by brushstroke, for you to practice writing it, for you to practice reading it, for you to practice hearing it, having listening comprehension at a fast enough pace that you can pick up on that monosyllable in Chinese when you hear it, and for you to learn the range, the diversity of meanings that word has in different contexts. Because in Chinese, the same word in different positions in the sentence will have different meanings. Right? Now, Chinese is not the only language like this, but Chinese is an extraordinarily difficult language. It's a huge amount of work to master just 10 new items of vocabulary. And we're not talking about 10. We're not talking about it. We are talking about more than 1,000 new words per week. Oh, but. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you more than $100 a month. Well, I'm pretty sure the U.S. military is working with a bottomless budget. I'm pretty sure the U.S. military could afford to pay $100 a month if there were results. If they could train a whole battalion of men to be fluent in Arabic, to be fluent in Chinese, to be fluent in a new target language in 3 months, the U.S. Army would pay that rate. I'm pretty sure the United Nations, I'm pretty sure any government diplomatic corps, I think there were actually a lot of organizations, big organizations with big budgets, for whom $100 here and there is really very, very little to ask. They can afford it if you have empirical evidence of results of the outcomes. So I just want to end this video by drawing your attention to the fact that this guy does not claim he has students he can introduce you to, that he has tangible results we can show. He can say, hey, look at this person. Here's an example of a person where I can prove to you that in a period of 3 months, he or she learned more than 1,000 new words per week. That here is an example of someone who is completely unfamiliar with a language like Chinese, and after just 3 months is fluent in it, thanks to this method. But if he could show us these kinds of results, we would still have to regard that with the same sort of skepticism that we'd have for a YouTuber selling diet advice, selling exercise advice, who can show you just one example of a pupil, one example of a disciple who in the space of 3 months lost weight, gained muscle mass, had transformative results. So look, guys, I am very careful in using the word scam. Sometimes people are just stupid, they're just naive, they're just optimistic, they're just crazy. But my feeling about these promises being made on YouTube in the pursuit of money, fame, power, respect, and sex, not necessarily in that order, the strange demimonde of the social media influencer as educational theoretician. Someone who doesn't actually sell you language lessons, but merely sells you a theory of education so that you can teach yourself a language. I feel like the burden of proof is on the other side. And we don't have to ask ourselves, is this a scam? I want you to ask yourself instead, is there anything in this strange polyglot demimonde that is not a scam? Is there anything that is a sincere, legitimate educational service, or that really even represents the level of authenticity and sincerity that we would associate with an autobiography, with someone sitting down and telling you how they learned Chinese, whether that was in 3 months or 3 years, or more likely, 30 years.
People wouldn't stick to this ridiculous diet of only eating meat if it didn't work. Anecdotes start turning into evidence if you have enough of them, and we're at that point.
These 7 exercises are all you need to do to learn a language in 3 months. If you do them daily for 90 days, you can learn any language, understand it, and speak it fluently in 3 months or less.
Brushing a plant-free ketogenic diet off as a fad diet when there's active research being done into ketogenic diets, rather than researching said plant-free ketogenic diet, is not a good long-term plan for the Mayo Clinic.